We're live. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to this edition of iBake TV Medicated Chef Show Live. The host, myself, and usually I host, don't host. Sometimes I'm on video, sometimes I'm not. But Thurlow Weed, of course, don't forget you can catch the Wake and Bake Show Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time right here on iBake TV. Tonight, we are doing a special Medicated Chef Show Live. We're here with Mr. AJ Hashman of the amazing at-home baked take and bake brownies in the medical cannabis industry here in Colorado. As you guys know, we do have the Medicated Chef Show that we are having the contest for, so you're definitely going to want to go ahead, and if you have not signed up for it already, go to noexcusesentertainment.com after the show and go ahead and sign up. One of our great sponsors, one of the great people that you're going to be able to see and meet there is Mr. Hashman. How you doing, AJ?
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you as well. I've met you, obviously, and we've talked numerous times, and I've had you on my Wake and Bake show. But there's a lot of people here that are watching this show that are, have not necessarily listened to the Wake and Bake show or looking for something a little bit different. So start off with letting everybody know what you've got right here. What this is that's different than everybody else's edible product out there for the cannabis industry.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'd like to start out with a couple questions.
Right.
Who in this industry hasn't taken something home, eaten it, had it taste like crap?
Oh, I know I have. And I know you have.
It might have worked. It might have been decent, but it had a weird aftertaste, tasted like a battery, just strange.
Yes.
Might have started tasting good and then got tasting really bad afterwards. That's one of the biggest things that we've gotten rid of with the at-home baked product. Now, the other huge thing is that who's made weed brownies before?
I have.
Do they stink?
Oh, yes.
Stink up your whole house?
And outside the house, yeah.
And the dog is high for a week off the smell, it
Yep.
seems like?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
and you can't get the smell out of your house, it seems like.
Yeah, that's the other thing that we've gotten rid of.
Wow.
We utilize only cold water hash, and it's all smokable cold water hash that we put into our brownies. So the purity and cleanliness of the product that goes into it ends up with a relatively odorless after product.
Nice.
They taste really good. They don't smell very much. They smell like just fresh baked brownies. And you're not going to be getting in trouble in your apartment, your dorm building, wherever you are, being a medical cannabis patient, where you have issues maybe trying to be able to get a hold of your medication and get something that works and works the way that you need it to. Now, the other question I have is, you ever eaten an edible trying to go to bed and had it keep you up all night long?
Me personally, I haven't, because aside from these, there's not many edibles out there that do much for me.
Yeah.
But I have heard of many people that have.
It's happened to me. It's happened to a lot of people I know. And that's another thing that we really tried to eliminate here with At Home Baked. The indica and sativa specific batches are based on hash, based on the way that the hash affects your body. It's not based on the plant that it came from. So, we can predict what exactly it's going to do. And sure, if you eat way too much of the sativa brownie, you might nap for a little bit. But you're going to wake up and you're still going to be really active and happy and have that medicated feeling for an extended time.
Instead of the fall asleep, wake up lethargic like you will if you eat too much of an indica?
Exactly, yeah. And if you eat too much of an indica, you're going to be groggy. It's made to put you out, and that's just what it does.
Exactly.
It makes for a great movie, makes for a really fun, night of unwinding after camping. Makes just for a really fun evening time enjoyment. Now, the other time the indicas come into play is if you have extreme pain.
Like myself, yes.
I've had issues, many of us, I've had issues where I haven't been able to sleep, not just for minutes or for hours, but for a long time, days, and the only thing that could turn the switch off were these indica brownies, extreme pain all the time, hip dysplasia, serious knee issues, things like that. That's where indica binders are going to come into play. Maybe smaller doses so that you're not falling asleep, but it's going to go directly to those target areas and get rid of your pain for you. Where our sativa one is going to give you that nice floaty sensation of euphoria and enjoyment, maybe even a little bit of visuals if you eat too much of it, but it's that end of the spectrum, where the other one is completely the other end of the spectrum. And, so few edibles are like that. So few edibles can you find that, like I said, I take a sativa one home, it's from a sativa plant, but it keeps me up, it puts me right to bed.
Yeah, exactly.
Same thing with an indica one. It's supposed to be an indica, whatever, I won't mention any other names, but you eat it and then you're up for 3 hours.
You eat it late at night thinking it's going to put you to bed after a long day, and next thing you know, you're up to 3 hours later.
3 hours on the computer, playing whatever, War Commander, or tweaking out.
Go out and then go to sleep because I got to get up in a couple hours.
Exactly. And you end up having to eat something different, try to correct. And if it's the same type of thing, you could over-opposite correct. And it just leads to bad situations for patients, especially patients that have busy schedules like me, like you, like a lot of us that are out there. We need to know what our meds are going to do, when they're going to do it, how long it's going to work.
That's why when we purchase them, when we purchase our meds, when we're going to be smokable meds, we make sure we purchase those meds exactly what we want, and we're going to use them for what they're tailored for. People need to understand, and a lot of people try to do it with edibles, but it's very hard unless you know the company, the person, unless you know that they're being made on a consistent basis, because you may have somebody's that are great and their indica work perfect this time and their sativa work perfect, but the next 4 times they're not nothing like it. It's got to be consistency.
Exactly. So, and I'm all about CBDs and other medicinal aspects of marijuana, but realistically, unless you break it down the way that we broke it down, you're not going to get those specific desired effects. I smoked super heavy CBD bud and still had it keep me awake and things like that, and vice versa. Edibles affect your body differently than just regular cannabis. And within edibles are a lot more of the healing properties than just straight, either eating the plant or anything like that. The closest thing you can get to it is probably juicing your marijuana fresh. That's the only other way that you can get more nutrients and quote-unquote good chemicals.
Get the rest of the CBD, CBNs.
Exactly, from your marijuana, but in that case, it still wouldn't even be activated. So you wouldn't get the effects feeling-wise. We activate everything in our mixes so that you're feeling the medication that you're getting. Sometimes with the indica one, it's a little less of a feeling than our sativa, but that's because it's targeting your pain. It's not necessarily getting you super, super high. It's making your pain dissipate significantly. And once you really start thinking about it and realize where you're feeling what, that's what you're end up coming to the realization I've been feeling, And basically, for those patients that are on a budget, we wanted to figure out how they could get 2 weeks to a month's worth of medication for a one-time $50 shot. Just like when you buy your prescription meds.
Exactly. When you go in, if you guys, I know you guys have purchased edibles, if you go in and spend $50 on other edibles, see if those are going to last you as long as a box of these will last you.
It's a fraction, it's about other edibles. If you go in and spend $50, you're looking at maybe 3 to 4 150 to 200 milligram doses, and that's at a good shop that's got relatively good deals. They're about $10 to $15 per 200 milligram edible, which is low for a lot of places. With our product, you're getting 8 200 milligram edibles, and it's for $50. So basically, you're doubling what you get for your money. You're able to control your dosage because you're the one that picks how large or how small they are. And the entire pan is the same. So you know your dose. Once you have one, you know your dose for the rest of the pan. Maybe that one was a bit too much. Next time you eat half of it. Everything like that. you get to know your own routines too. They last for about 2 weeks, just in a Ziploc bag or in a sealed container on the
They can
counter.
freeze them if they want though, right?
Yeah, exactly. And if you're not going to eat them in those 2 weeks, you take the other half of the box, you wrap them individually for your dose, you throw them in the freezer. Then once they're ready to go, 2 weeks, 3 weeks down the line, you pop them out of the freezer, 15 seconds in the microwave,
Fine.
and you got a delicious, chewy, gooey brownie.
So good brownies. Or blondies,
Or
because they
blondies.
do both.
Yeah.
They definitely do both. AJ, I've got to ask, one of the biggest things about edibles is the fact that people need to learn, obviously, to be able to correctly and effectively make their own edibles at their house. That's why I came out with the Medicated Chef Show, was to be able to teach people this. And basically, you guys have done this where you've got a pre-packaged mix that you go home and make yourself. So it would obviously, I'm just picturing that if these were with meals such as steaks or chicken or something like that, where you could take it back to your house, where it's already been marinated, medicated, and simply cook it, heat it up, then obviously it's going to be a positive thing. It's going to be a lot easier for patients to be able to get their medication effectively, but still, until somebody's doing that, they have to be able to judge how strong that they want to make them, such like that. So what you guys have done is you guys have figured a high dose, and then obviously let them cut their brownies down to the size that they want. That way that you have the consistency, they don't have to worry about them being too strong. But I want to ask you, say somebody gets one of your brownie mixes and they decide they only want to use half of the medication that's in it, okay? Can that medication be kept, so if they get another box, do you see what I'm saying? Maybe they try them and they make it and it's too strong, and instead of eating a piece this big, they want to eat a half a brownie, but it don't have the medication. Is that something that they can do?
It is feasible. It's not really what it's made for. This is the ramen noodles of edibles. It's pretty, stoner proof.
There you go. Perfect.
All you need to do is you take your 2 packets, your wet pack and your dry pack, you combine those together until it's even. You take 2 eggs, you put them in there, you mix it until it's gooey. Then you pour it into a bowl, you go into your pantry, you grab a thing of M&Ms or whatever you want.
Yes.
Some chips.
Mike, you just got my full attention there.
You sprinkle it over the top of it. And voila. I mean, you have an amazing, gourmet, delicious brownie. Maybe you got a little shredded coconut left over from making macaroons. Maybe you got a quarter of a bag of dark chocolate chips left from when you made cookies last time. Anything like that. And it's not like you need to use a lot. There's only an 8x8 pan. This is the size of the pan that you're going to be baking them in. This is actually the type of pan that I recommend too. Silicone is the best way to go if you want to get all your medication out. You don't want to have even one little morsel stick to it or anything like that. Baking wise, probably glass is my favorite thing because I love those really nice crunchy edges you get from glass. But this makes it so easy to portion. You just take it right out of the pan, you flip it over on your cutting board, it slides right out. You cut it to whatever size you need it. Even all the way down to 30 seconds. And you're ready to go. You want little 50 milligram, 30-second brownie bites. Say you're working a catering job, and you need a nice sustained pain relief, but you don't want to be silly, and forget everything that you're doing. You take your little 50 milligrammers, you eat one, maybe an hour or 2 before. You feel okay as you're getting in there. It starts to wear off an hour or 2 in, you eat another one. Feeling good through the rest of the evening, you're ready to break down, eat another one. That way your shoulder's still working, your head's still straight, you're good to go. You're not on a Flexerol or an Oxycontin or something like that because your shoulder's killing you. And you can still function, have a good time, make a great tip, and have a wonderful end of your night.
There you go.
And you're not stinking like smoke. You're not trying to sneak away out of this person's garage or at a wedding or some silly thing like that where it's not necessarily appropriate to go and smoke a bowl.
Exactly.
You know, and you bring a little brownie bite with you. Sure, maybe you're not sharing your dessert with everyone else, but it makes the medicine accessible, and it lets us control our state of mind, our state of well-being, without cluing in, even really the person next to you.
Well, even the brownie bites. Heck, you're not sharing dessert. Nobody knows if you pop one in your mouth. It's simple, it's easy, it's discreet, and you don't have to worry about, having. That's actually perfect idea, just to keep them small, nice size little bites. And one thing that he mentioned, he was talking about the M&Ms and the coconut. One thing that I actually found out earlier this week that I haven't got to try is you may want to go ahead and take them with some milk, especially if your edibles don't really affect you. Because I found out that taking milk, obviously because the fat, yes, increases the chances. So edibles are not big, do not really do much for me, but I've considered, now obviously I'm going to try it because I've heard the effect of edibles is very good. So just think about it when you're sitting down with one of these. Go ahead and have a glass of milk, especially if you, I'm going to say this, if you haven't had them affect you, or if you haven't had them before, take them without the milk first to let you see how they affect you first. You may be able to take a half of one without milk, but then with milk you may only take a quarter of it.
And I mean, it's a strong dose. Like I said, we use all cold water hash, so there's much less variation in our dosing from batch to batch, where we can get it right on at that 12 to 1400 milligrams for our indicas and that 16 to 1800 milligrams for our sativas. And it's consistent throughout. So, I mean, you're going to get that strength, and it's going to be a cold water hash type of buzz. It's not going to be a BHO medicine type of buzz where it's a little bit too speedy and racy sometimes, and get your heart going. Or, yeah, exactly. And then it's not going to be just a flower buzz either, where you have that real earthy sort of dirt taste in your mouth sometimes, and it's almost grainy within the brownie. You're not having any of those effects in our brownie mix. It's a nice, fudgy, gooey, delicious brownie. It doesn't really stink at all, so safe for apartment buildings. And, you're getting the best deal out there. I mean, literally, if you were to cut that in 30 seconds for a 50 milligram brownie bite, think about that. That's like $1.40.
Yeah, and that's
per
50 milligram edible at the dispensary. The cheapest 50 milligram edible is $5 or $6.
$5 or $6, exactly, because obviously those are wholesaling for $3 or $4, and the dispensary's got to make their money on it. Because it costs to package everything and things like that. We saved all that expense and pass that savings on to you. Since we don't individually package everything, since it all comes in one box for you to do, we've passed on that $50, $60, $70, $80, $100 savings when you really break it down. I mean, even if you're doing 100 milligrams, like some of my favorite other edibles, there's a lot of other great edibles out there, chocolate bars and candies and things like that, but when I'm shopping for them, and I'm looking for a 100 milligram dose, it's costing me around $10.
Yeah.
Maybe 8 some places, maybe 12 other places, but it's right around $10. So you're thinking, okay, I need 16 of these to equal this out. Even on the low end, I need 12 of these to equal this out. That's $120. That's double what you're paying for a box at the most expensive store that carries our stuff. So people don't want to necessarily spend that $50 or $60, but they're getting it back in return by so much more meds and cleaner meds and better meds for their body. Because, I mean, even ask some doctors that are out there, they recommend a brownie. It's a really good complex fat, it's got a really good structure to it, it's easy for people to digest. The cocoa makes it go down very smooth, keeps your metabolism up a little bit with the caffeine aspect in the cocoa, and it breaks down more in your kidney than anywhere else, at least the hash side of it. Yeah. So it's just like getting a time-release capsule of wonderful hash delivered to your kidney via this amazing, delicious brownie.
And
you know, or blondie.
Or blonde, yeah. Well, and it's better for your kidneys, obviously, than any type of other pills or medication
Well,
that you would be
and it's
taking.
actually less harsh than just a straight hash pill, because it's been broken down in a food compound,
Yeah.
so it's easier for your body
It's
to
not
process.
I want to ask you, one of the ways, obviously, being into medicated chef and cooking, now, one of the ways they can infuse stuff is through cold water hash. For some of the people who don't understand the process of cold water hash and how it's made, can you kind of break it down?
Yeah,
for
yeah.
them so they understand
It's
how
a very simple, pretty old school process. You know, the only other type of hash baking that's older is basically drum hashing, which is when they take product and they stretch it over a big drum and they beat the crap out of it and it comes out the bottom, and it's more like keefing than anything else, but that's the most basic form of hash. You know, just above that is basically cold water extract. You know, this was some guy that said, I'm going to make this water really cold and just sort of dump it over this bud and see what comes out of it. You know, because it has too many chemicals in it, or this or that or the other, so I need to wash off this product to get the clean, good stuff at the end. You know, we've taken that to a whole nother level with our product, because what we do is we take superior product already, amazing trim, amazing bud, that these dispensaries want made into their own hash. We make it into their hash for them, you know, and then we give it back to the dispensary. You know, what we get is a portion of that smokable hash that they would sell on their dispensary shelves. And then we do our testing to see if it's indica or sativa. We break it out into the two categories, and then we use that to infuse our brownie mixes. So it's the cleanest, purest form of extraction out there. There's water, plant material, and filtration. That's it. You know, you're not adding anything, you're not taking anything away, you're not breaking down your THC cell structure with the supercritical extraction like you guys have all heard about with the honeys and butters and things like that, you know, that are out there that are a butane extraction or even a CO2 extraction. Because the CO2 extraction is done at a supercritical level, it breaks the THC cell down and then reforms it with extra carbon molecules, because that's what you're using to break it down. With water, you're washing
You're
THC
washing it off and
glands.
collecting it. Yes,
Exactly. So I mean, it's just simply those glands, simply the gland heads, and it's much easier to control dosage-wise when you're putting it into a product.
And when it's pure like that, exactly, and you know that it's pure like that, you know that it's not going to be less effective because there's more plant material in it or matter in it. You're going to have a batch that may smell more because you have plant matter in it or something like that, obviously. So it's great. Now, so now that you guys have broke that down, obviously we're not going to get you into your ingredients on the brownies. I mean,
You can see. I mean, that's what we love, is that it's so simple and easy. I mean,
there you go.
there's no dihydrochlorometha anything.
No GMO. No GMO.
It's
That's
all
what we
super
definitely-
simple ingredients. You know, you're talking sugar, flour, oil, cocoa powder, salt, water, vanilla.
There you
That's
go.
it. You know.
Simple, easy brownie pack. You guys recently, now let them know real quick while you're showing them everything that you guys offer, because you offer
Yeah, we.
blondies, brownies, now gluten-free.
You know, we have an amazing baker here who ran his own place for years and years, and you know, who discovered this idea and has furthered this idea. And he's recently developed a wonderful gluten-free mix. You know, and it not only is a delicious brownie, you know, just like all of our other ones, but it's free of any kind of wheat flour. It rises a lot more like a cake-like brownie, you know, than our signature sort of fudgy-type brownies. So it adds a little bit of even depth for people that aren't necessarily into the gluten-free side of things. You know, if you like a more cakey brownie, you get the gluten-free. I mean, it's normally only about $5 or $10 more at whatever dispensary you're purchasing it from. So like I said, if they're selling regular ones for $50, those are $60, and you're still getting an amazing deal for your money. It's a little bit better for your body. You know, obviously things without gluten is like, it's like having a whole bowl of rice, okay? So this one bowl of rice is gluten-free, per se. and it's nice and loose and it doesn't really stick together or anything like that. You know, this other bowl of rice is the traditional regular gluten type product. You know, this would be like that sticky Thai rice that comes in just a big old clump and you can't even really get it apart. So when your body's digesting stuff, it's obviously harder to digest the stuff with the big old clump than it is for the stuff that's nice and loose and airy and grainy. You know, so that's where the gluten-free comes into play. It's for those people with IBS, you know, for those people who have issues with sugar in their system and things like that. For those other people who, you know, I wouldn't say celiac disease because you're that horribly allergic to it. We do make other flour products in our kitchen, so I would hate to have just a little molecule of flour in there. And if you had full-on serious celiac disease,
you would
have it give you issues. But, you know, for those people that are sensitive to gluten and that are trying to avoid gluten, we wanted to give you an option because there's so little on your dispensary shelf that can do it. You know, there's one or two really good companies out there that do more grainy type things. You know, and I mean, frankly, I'm not a rabbit.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
I don't want sesame seeds and peanuts and all that. I want a nice brownie, you know. I want something that's tasty and delicious that I can enjoy. I don't want to have to choke down my medicine and, you know, have this big dry mouth already.
Yeah, well,
you know?
especially if you got the munchies. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So, you know, it's our alternative, and I think it's an amazing discovery and something that's really going to help our industry and those patients that really need it. You know, so many of the patients in this industry are straight up patients, you know, and
sure, the news plays, the mainstream news and media plays it to bullshit, just like we covered on some stories today about how New Jersey was bashing us for saying basically what it, in not so much of a sense what it's done with the community when they pass medical cannabis is it's all illegal. It's illegal people that are getting busted for selling stuff out of state and this and that, when really the community is not like that. Of course, anywhere you're going to get bad seeds, you're going to get bad apples, that's granted. Plus a lot of those stories that they were talking about was before everything kicked in with HB 1284 and SB 109. So what's going on here in Colorado right now is the people that really aren't being the valid patients are those people that chose when their red card needed to be renewed. They chose not to renew it. That's why we don't have all those people on the registry. So you need to remember that just because the mainstream media and news say that Colorado has an excessive amount of patients or this and that doesn't mean that they're speaking the truth.
well, I mean, I'd say it's maybe about half. You know, half the patients out there are like me and you. We don't look like we have anything wrong with us per se. You know, no one would know by looking at me that I have nerve damage and that my neck cracks constantly and every single night. You know, and I look like a relatively healthy, you know, hopefully relatively young man, you know, but I truly need this to get through an evening, to unwind before I go to bed. I don't drink. You know, I rarely, if ever, drink. I'll drink once a month, maybe once every other week, if that, you know, and it's like some people when they smoke, same type of thing. You know, they'll only smoke once a month. It's sort of one or the other, I feel like. And alcohol never helped me. You know, if I'm going to be consuming something, if I'm going to be potentially hurting my body, I need to get some kind of benefit from it. I mean, smoking anything isn't necessarily a good thing. But to have that stress relief, to have that ability to focus, you know, to have that awakeness without caffeine or other types of drugs, you know, is all what we can get from medical cannabis these days, and what dispensaries have given to us, really, because now we all know what indica and sativa is. You know, it's not just whatever you could get from the guy down the street.
Exactly.
It's pick and choose, you know, from almost a gourmet buffet of all different types of products. You know, from a brownie mix to trail mix to, you know, a chocolate-covered peanut butter cup to a chocolate bar to a candy bar to a lollipop to anything, really. And then, once you get into the flowers, it's a whole plethora. I mean, there's some dispensaries that have 130 different strains on their shelves.
Beautiful, just
You know?
lovely. And it's good to have that variety. It really is.
Well, I think to an extent. You know?
Can you overdo it? Yeah. I mean, if I had to look at 130 strains,
And who's
I'm
gonna
going to be
know
there
that?
for a while.
Who's gonna know it either,
Yes.
as the bud tender?
Effectively.
Who's gonna effectively have tried 130? It's like if
You're
you had
right.
a wine list of 130 wines. I mean, all the waiters out there can relate to this. If your wine list is 35 wines, you can get to know 6 or 7 or 8 of them really well and sell them really well, you know, and actually talk about them educated.
Yeah.
You know, where if your wine list is 130 wines, what are you gonna get to know? Maybe 10, 15 of them if you're lucky? You know, that's exactly what we're dealing with in the cannabis industry right now, I feel. You know, places that have 20, 30, 40 strains, that's amazing because you can have some that are specific for some things and other things, but you need that practical knowledge of a strain. One grape vape at one shop is going to be very different than another grape vape at another shop. And depending on how they were grown and how long they were left to finish and things like that, it can change their indica and sativa ratio significantly. You know, so, you know, we can't try things at shops anymore. So we can't know what that feeling is coming away from it with the flower. So we figured we have to give them something like our brownie mix where they know that they're gonna get a consistent type of relief and a consistent experience every time. You know, because even with flower, it's all over the place. 130 strains, it's gonna be all over the place.
Yeah, and you're not going to be able to, again, it comes to effectively being able to say, hey, if you ask your bud tender, and that's one of the big things when I'm getting flowers, I ask them, what do you personally think of this? If they haven't tried it now, I'm starting to think, okay, well, and the other day, as a matter of fact, when I got some meds the other day, the guy said, I haven't tried it, but everybody has been coming back, okay, well now I'm getting somebody else's opinion, and I trust this person, so obviously, you know, I trust their opinion. AJ, where can they get them? You've got 68 shops now.
Yep.
68 shops and growing in the state of Colorado.
You know, just a few of the ones that we have is 14ers in Boulder, Ultrameds right on the 36th Parkway, Boomtown up in Crested View, Boulder MMC, Rec Organic up in Breckenridge, Buddy's Wellness, Coronado, right on Leedsdale, but I mean the list goes on. There's way too many to mention here. Some of our favorites really love our product, and it's because they've gotten to try it. You know, you guys can check it all out at athomebakedcolorado.com. That's our website. If you guys search online for At Home Baked Edibles or At Home Baked Colorado, you're going to be able to see it. The page is going to pop right up. Super easy to check out. You can even hover over all these different locations, and once you get over top of one of them, it's going to give you their phone number and also their address. So wherever you want to go, if you want to see what they have, if they have us in stock, if they have blondies, if they only have brownies, you can go right over that, get their phone number right away, either on here or on your smartphones, wherever, you know, and go directly to their websites, their Facebook pages, learn more about these dispensaries, and give them a ring. See what they have in stock. See if they have some good meds for you. See if they have us, if you're looking to get us, or whatever other edibles that you like. You know, there's a resource that takes a lot of time for a lot of patients to figure out is, where do I go? How do I get in touch with them? You know, you end up going to one website, you see their name and ratings on how they were and things like that, but the phone number doesn't work. And then you go to another website, and the phone number works, but it's a different dispensary, it's on the wrong one. You know? It's very hit and miss out there, exactly. So these are dispensaries that we get the info right from the dispensaries. We try to keep it very up to date, and it gives you a chance to just give them a ring and say, hey, do you have At Home Baked sativa brownies in stock right now?
And if they don't, tell them they need to get them in stock. If you've got one that you regularly go to, tell them to check it out. Go to athomebakedcolorado.com. Get the information to contact AJ, which he'll give you here in just a second, and take it to him and say, hey, you know what, a lot of people are getting these, I prefer these, especially if they're your caregiver. If they're your caregiver, they really should be listening to you, and if they're your caregiver and they're not listening to you, maybe you should think about switching your caregiver over, because this is your health.
And think about the price point too. Most places, if they're your caregiver, you're getting 20% off all your edibles. So I mean, with our product, yeah, with our product at $50, you're knocking that all the way down to $40.
Now everything just is cheaper. Now those little bites or even your brownies, you can't beat it.
A little over $1 for a 50 milligram dose. You know, it's strong, potent, consistent, you know, and you don't have to go anywhere else to find it. You know, I mean, we're all over the state, and you're going to be able to find somewhere close by to go ahead and get us. But tell your local dispensary, if they're not carrying us yet, they should. There's a 2-year shelf life on this product. It's not going to go bad on your shelves. Your dispensary isn't going to lose money on it. Even the patients aren't going to lose money on it. You know, if you're a patient and this sits in your closet for 1.5 years and you never get around to making it, you're not throwing it away. You just bust it open in 1.5 years when you got poker night coming up, you know, and you're having a great time. Day before Halloween, make up a batch of brownies, keep brownies for trick-or-treating, you know, that next night. You're going to have the best Halloween ever.
Oh yeah,
you know?
Have a couple of your other patients and friends over and go ahead and enjoy it. If you take one of those brownies or one of those edibles that you buy at the shop and you keep it for 2 years and go ahead and do something with it, I don't think you're going to be able to even eat it.
Well, I guarantee you,
hard as a brick.
it's not going to stick around. It's not going to stick around. That's how
No.
good these are. You know, they taste delicious. And once you realize how good they are and when you can use them and how to use them, all it is a matter of having a box on hand or having a couple in the freezer, and you're set. You're good to go. You know, we have many patients that constantly thank us because they realize, oh my God, I had a indica brownie in the freezer just sitting there that I forgot about, found it, ate it. I had the most amazing night's sleep and I could not unwind. I could not get rid of the pain. I could not get any relief. And this helps people that do that. Fibromyalgia patients, huge benefits from our indica brownies. Like, you don't even know the kind of reports that we've gotten from people.
I know a few fibromyalgia patients that are very impressed. One of them is Lynette Johnson, as a matter of fact, very good friend of mine as well. And what's great about her is she was actually somebody who was totally against cannabis until she found that she had fibromyalgia. And then she had fibromyalgia and started up a group for it. And one of the ladies of her group is like, have you ever considered medical cannabis? And she's like, are you crazy? I'm a dare mom. I got a 15-year-old son. And a year later, she's promoting to get cannabis legalized with amendment, whatever that number is that's going on. But yeah, but fibromyalgia patients have been able to find edibles being, well, obviously even better than flour. So AJ, let these guys know how they can get a hold of you besides just the website.
You can check us out on athomebakedcolorado.com. You can give me a ring directly at 303-881-0148. You can email us at athomebaked@gmail.com. You can look us up on Facebook at our At Home Baked LLC Facebook page. You know, we're all over the place. We're on Twitter. If you like to follow on Twitter, we don't update that a ton, but we do enjoy putting important stuff up there and keeping our people informed. You know, I get tired of the Twitter bombs sometimes where I get 15 messages from one person throughout the day that don't tell me anything about them. But,
Yeah.
you know, we try to keep people updated with new shops and things like that on Twitter. And, you know, maybe throw up a picture every once in a while. You're not going to get any drunken kittens from us.
Good.
You know, but, you know, maybe on Facebook, we'll see. You know, but we try to keep the information we put up there very informative. You can also find me personally on Facebook, AJ Hashman. Most people call me AJ the Hash Man around here because I have always just been about cold water hash and the benefits of it and how it can lessen your smoking, how it can work effectively in edibles, and how it can really change people's lives. You know, I have a young son, you know, and I can be a much higher functioning dad if I have access to cannabis when I need it. You know, very rarely with my son am I actually high at all. You know, but when I'm having a neck spasm, you know, when I'm having serious lower back issues, when my pain is acting up and flaring up, and I can't take a Flexerol because I wouldn't be able to drive, because I wouldn't be able to function, because I wouldn't be able to take care of my son. You know, I can go and I can sneak a little piece of a brownie, or I can take a couple puffs off of a bowl, and be able to deal with that pain and make it manageable without the use of something that is too heavy or too strong for me. You know, and that's really what we want to be able to provide to patients is access to that. It's the same access to what we have. And frankly, this is what our grandmothers and grandfathers should be using.
Yes.
Instead of 15 pills a day, they should be able to eat a half a brownie.
And be just fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. A brownie a day, half in the morning, half in the evening.
Yep.
We're going to go ahead and we'll be cutting this off here real quick, but before we go, there's another part of something that AJ Hashman is he helps out with a lot and has just recently brought back this last month is the monthly meet and greets.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go ahead and touch on that real quick just to let everybody know what day they can go ahead and find the meet and greets, and do you have it set up where you're going to have it this month?
We do. We're going to be constantly at this wonderful gallery that we found at 816 Santa Fe. And what this event is, it's a private patient-to-patient event. You know, patients purchase meds, patients share meds, everyone gets to enjoy their meds on site, and essentially, you know, we give you the ability back to try meds from different dispensaries through patients purchasing them. So, you don't know who has the best grade vape.
No.
I don't know who has the best grade vape. Let's try grade vape from 6 different places and let's figure it out together.
There you go. Or
That's
Island Sweet Skunk.
Yeah, that's what this event's all about. You know, patients getting together and, you know, sharing their experiences, sharing their grow experiences, sharing their meds, and just sharing love, you know, because that's what this community is. That's what builds a community, is that unity and the ability to access the information that affects the community, which we also try to do at the meet and greets, is keep people updated on what exactly is going on at the event and in the community and in the local dispensaries and things like that. And, you know, it just gives us all a venue to enjoy each other's company, unwind, and do what we do, you know, without the pressures of alcohol, without the pressures of, you know, someone looking at you weird because you're smoking MMJ, or, you know, trying to sneak off from the bathroom to take a toke off of your 180 because you're stressed out at this, you know, event or whatever. You know, it's open, it's you know, easily accepted, and basically how it should be, I think, worldwide.
Yes.
But unfortunately, you know, we have to have a private event where you do pay admission and, you know, you come in and enjoy yourself in that way.
And here's the thing, guys, there's an admission, but if you think about it, if you go anywhere, just about anywhere, you're gonna have to pay for something. Again, he said if you're going out to have drinks with friends, it's gonna be what, more than the $10 cover. If you're gonna be going to a movie, that's more than $10. There's many things. So the cover price is just to make sure that this happens. Go down, don't miss it. It's Sundays. It's the last Sunday.
It's the last Sunday of every month. Yep.
Yeah, go down, check it out. Last Sunday of every month. The meet and greet is going to be 816 Santa Fe.
You got it.
816 Santa Fe. You can find out more on his Facebook. You can also find out more by going to noexcusesentertainment.com. You're definitely going to want to go down, check it out. Learn from new dispensaries, meet new people, get educated. I'm sure if you go down there, you're going to meet somebody you didn't know, and you're going to learn something that you didn't know, and you're going to continue to grow and grow. And each month, you'll be able, who knows, you might find a strain you like better. Maybe there's a strain you like from one place that you find it better at another place. You're definitely going to want to check it out. I've been going to him quite often, and he had them put on pause for a little bit, but now that they're back, it's a great thing for the community, and it's what the community needs.
It is. It's, you know, it's the essence of community. It's people sharing with people.
Exactly.
And that's what it is. It's not for any business. It's not for any organization. We give all the booth space away for free, you know, and it's just all about showing people what's out there and sharing the love.
Exactly. Anything you want to say last to everybody before you go?
No, that's really it. You know, please give our product a try. If you haven't seen At Home Baked, ask your local bud tender. They can get a hold of us online, through Facebook, through my phone, also now through Nexus Meds. They can even order it online. So contact us directly or work through your local distributor of At Home Baked, and we'll get your patients taken care of, especially in these late summers when, you know, meds are tight and patients need something to get them through. You know, this is the thing that can really make that happen for your patients and keep them loyal and keep them coming back, because, you know, if your butt is suffering and you have an amazing edible, it's a reason to come into the shop. And when they come in to buy this and they see that your butt has come back, then they're also going to start getting their meds there too, you know. So it's really a great way to keep patients happy, you know, keep patients satisfied because they know what they're going to get, and also pass on an amazing deal to your patients. You know, what bud tender out there doesn't want to hook their patient up with an awesome edible? And that's really what it is. It's just an awesome edible.
It is. It's great. Thanks, AJ. I appreciate it. I'm always happy to come down and meet with you. I'm always happy to promote your products. They're great. You guys are going to see more of AJ Hashman, and definitely At Home Baked here on the Medicated Chef Show live for the Medicated Chef contest and just everything else that's going on. So make sure, if you don't remember anything of this tonight, just go to noexcusesentertainment.com, where you've went many of times, and click on that At Home Bake logo that you see, and you'll be able to get all this information as well. Thanks everybody. You guys have a great night. Don't forget, Medicated Chef next Tuesday, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and tomorrow morning, Wake and Bake with Thurlow Weed right here on iBake TV. Have a good night.
Thanks for listening.